Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name is David and today I'm going to go over the bullet seating. So after we've charged our cases with powder, we need to seat the bullet. To do this we need a seating die. I've tried several different seating dies. I've used a Reading seating die, a Hornady seating die, a Lee seating die, and a Wilson seating die. For today I'm going to be using the Hornady seating die with a micrometer and a VLD stem installed inside of it. The VLD stem is important when you're using projectiles that have VLD, that's very low drag. I'll be covering more of why the VLD stem is important in one of my upcoming videos, and I'll be showing some examples of what can go wrong if you don't have one. To start off the process, I use one of my inert dummy rounds. I make sure that it is seated properly into it, and then I use the Accuracy 1 depth gauge that I have below in the center of the screen. I make sure I zero it to get the proper depth for it, and then I simply start loading rounds at that depth and make sure that everything matches up the same. As you can see, I'm getting currently about a 1 thou variation from the seating depth that I had on my test seating to the actual rounds. After doing this for a few times, I decide I'm going to go ahead and make a change, and I adjust down. After that, all of the rounds are coming out within a ½ thou of consistency. The press that I'm using is an Area 419 Zero Press Generation 1. I'm a big fan of this particular press because of how rigid it is. There is almost no horizontal movement or slop in the system, giving you a consistent and repeatable pressure every single time. It is also very easy to change from die to die as you progress through your reloading process. This is the same press that I've used through the entire reloading process, all the way from the full-length resizing to the mandrel and now the seating die. As you can see, the process of seating a bullet is not a complex one. Simply pick up a case, put it into the press, make sure the bullet is fairly aligned, and then activate the press with the lever in order to seat the bullet. One of the key items here is to make sure that you use consistent and constant pressure. You don't want to stop and start, and you don't want to go extremely fast or extremely slow. It just needs to be a steady, consistent pressure. Periodically, I will stop and test the concentricity of the rounds, making sure that both the case and the bullet are still within the 1 to 1½ thou of concentricity that I'm looking for out of my rounds. In this batch, I was averaging somewhere between 1 and 2 thousandths of accuracy for my concentricity. A little higher than I would like, but well within acceptable margins. In all honesty, I'm simply not a good enough shooter to be able to notice a 1/1000th difference in concentricity. For me, it's an OCD thing where I want to make sure everything is done in the same process, the same way, every time, with the same results. These rounds are going to be used in a seating depth test that I'll be taking to the range and actually firing and seating them at the range. So all of these have been seated to maximum length to be able to fit into the magazines that I have seated up above there. The two magazines that I have seated between the loading block and the powder are a Tikka CTR and a AICS MDT magazine, both of which require to be about 50 thou off the lands for these particular rounds. In a future video, I'll go into depth on how to find your lands. I'll also go over why seating depth matters, as well as some alternatives to doing seating depth tests. Here at the end of the video, I take a base to ogive measurement, just like I did earlier in the beginning of the video, in order to make sure that everything continues to match up. It's a good idea just to make sure that at the beginning, middle, and end of your process, that everything does align and the numbers are all the same. And that's all there is to seating bullets. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, as I'll be continuing to put out more video content on my entire reloading process, as well as product reviews and range videos. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.